If you've watched football lately, there's a good chance you felt it. That slow brewing frustration. A goal is scored, the players celebrate, and then freeze. The referee has a finger to his ear. Everyone waits. A replay plays, then another. 3 minutes pass. The decision is reversed. Half the stadium erupts in joy, the other in fury. And somewhere, the soul of the game feels just a little fainter. Now contrast that with tennis. A player challenges a line call, and within 5 seconds, Hawkeye shows a clean, animated verdict. Play resumes. In cricket, a batter reviews an LBW call and a series of precise graphics. Snicko, hotspot, ball tracking build to a final decision. It's clinical, yes, but also strangely satisfying. So why is it that VAR in football feels like a chaotic intrusion, while tech in other sports feels like a natural evolution? Let's break it down, because this isn't just about tech. It's about time, trust, tradition, and the very way football is structured. 1. Football wasn't built to pause. Start with this. Football is a flow sport. Unlike cricket, tennis, American football, or baseball, which all operate in clear phases or points, football is a living organism. It breathes, moves, and escalates without interruption. A single flowing move might involve 20 touches and cover 80 yards in 10 seconds. That uninterrupted nature is central to football's identity. It's why fans talk about momentum and rhythm and game tempo. Interruptions, especially unnatural ones, break that flow, and with it, the emotional arc of the match. When VAR steps in, it inserts a jarring pause into this fluid narrative, like freezing a musical crescendo, mid-note to double-check the sheet music. Even when the final result is correct, the moment is gone. The celebration feels muted. The injustice lingers. Other sports, they're made for breaks. Tennis has built-in pauses after every point. Cricket resets after every delivery or over. NFL has time between every play. Even basketball has dead balls, timeouts, and fouls as natural stop points. Tech doesn't intrude there. It slips right in. But football resists the pause. 2. The culture of the game is different beyond its structure. Football has a very specific culture, a global one. It's watched by billions across languages, geographies, and belief systems, and that makes the emotional stakes unmatched. In tennis, one controversial line call might swing a point or a set. In cricket, a wrong LB buzz might cost a wicket, but there are 10 in an innings. In basketball, a single call among 120-plus points matters little. But in football, one goal can be everything. There's a cruel mathematical irony here. The fewer goals a sport has, the more every decision becomes a potential turning point. A wrongly given penalty or an incorrect offside doesn't just change the scoreboard, it can end a title challenge, decide a relegation, or crush a nation's hopes. That weight makes fans less forgiving. It also makes them more emotional, and emotion isn't compatible with nuance. People want clean justice. Was it right or wrong? But VAR exists in the gray, especially in a game where so much depends on interpretation. Precision versus spirit. Where football loses the plot, consider offside decisions under VAR. We now have semi-automated offside technology that tracks limbs and maps 3D models to detect minute margins. And that's good, right? Well, what's being? Yes and no. Imagine a striker scores a beautiful team goal, but replays show his knee was 2 centimeters ahead of the defender. Technically offside, but did it give him any real advantage? Probably not. Here's the philosophical divide. VAR prioritizes precision. Football fans value spirit and fairness, and often those two don't align. In fact, if you want an analogy, VAR is like using a microscope to judge a painting. Sure, you can point out the imperfections, the uneven strokes, but that's not how it was meant to be seen. Football is an impressionist masterpiece. The closer you zoom in, the more the magic disappears. 4. Football isn't designed for tech-led control. Some sports have centralized review structures that make officiating smoother. In cricket, DRS is used by players, which adds agency. In the NFL, coaches have challenge flags. In rugby, the TMO system is both transparent and collaborative. You hear the ref say, "Let's check for foul play." And the crowd follows the logic. Football, VAR decisions are handed down like divine rulings. Silent, opaque, unexplainable. You watch the referee touch his earpiece for 2 minutes. Then he jogs to a screen. Another minute passes. Then a decision, and that's it. You never hear the rationale. You don't know what angles they viewed, and that absence of communication destroys trust. In fact, IFAB, the body that governs football's laws, has resisted allowing live audio between VAR and referees to be broadcast. Their reasoning? Safety. They argue that public scrutiny would make referees more vulnerable to abuse, and while that's valid, it's also a self-fulfilling prophecy. If fans had more access to referees' thinking, they might trust them more, not less. 5. Experimenting without real reform. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Despite the issues, football has actually made some smart tech advances. Goal line technology is instant, unobtrusive, and nearly universally loved. Semi-automated offside systems reduce guesswork. VAR only checks, without stopping play, help in off-the-ball incidents, but none of this matters if the core principles aren't clear. What counts as clear and obvious? What's the threshold for overturning a decision? 1 week a handball is a penalty, the next, it's ball to hand. These inconsistencies feed the narrative that VAR is broken, even when it's functioning exactly as designed. And worst of all, the lack of consistency isn't just between games, it's between leagues. A challenge in the Premier League might not be reviewed in La Liga. A penalty given in Serie A might not even get a second look in the Bundesliga. There's no global standard. That would be fine, except football is a global language. Fans are watching all leagues. The inconsistencies aren't invisible anymore. They're obvious. 6. Referees are now playing two roles. Referees were once the final authority on the pitch. Their job was to make calls, manage the game, and interpret situations based on feel, instinct, and position. Now they're waiting for VAR to confirm their choices, and that hesitation is killing confidence, both on the field and in the stands. You'll often see a referee hesitate to blow the whistle, waiting to see if VAR might intervene, or worse, overturn a decision on the monitor that they originally seemed confident about. And here's the catch. When they get it right, no one notices. When they get it wrong, everyone screams. Referees are now in a no-win situation. Trust their instincts? Get overruled. Rely on VAR? Get accused of weakness. It's turning the most important figure in match management into a middleman, and that's not sustainable. 7. The fan experience is fundamentally altered. Let's zoom out. At its core, football isn't just a sport. It's a theater, a shared emotional experience, a collective rhythm between players and fans, where drama unfolds in real time and stories are written minute by minute. VAR disrupts the narrative. You can't celebrate a goal without checking for a flag. You hesitate before cheering, waiting for confirmation. The spontaneity, the most powerful part of being a fan, is neutralized. In the name of justice, we're losing joy, and this matters. Because if fans start disengaging, if they stop caring, stop reacting, stop feeling, then what exactly are we protecting with all this precision? Can football learn from other sports? Yes, but not by copying. Football can't just adopt DRS or challenge flags. Sports rhythm and global culture won't allow it, but it can adapt smartly. Introduce time limits on VAR checks. If it takes more than 30 seconds, the on-field call stands. Make post-match VAR audio available to explain reasoning. Allow a 1 per half challenge system by captains with clear rules on when it applies. Redefine offside margins. Give attackers the benefit of the doubt. Focus VAR only on objective decisions. Not like mistaken identity, violent conduct, not every contact or interpretation. And most importantly, educate the fans. Show them how VAR works. Build trust by being transparent. The goal isn't to make every call perfect, it's to make every call understandable. Football is about feeling, not just fact. In a world obsessed with data and precision, it's tempting to think more technology equals better sport. But football reminds us that sport isn't just about numbers, it's about moments. Unrepeatable, emotional, irrational moments. VAR was introduced to reduce injustice, and in many cases, it has. According to PGMOL, over 200 incorrect decisions a year are corrected by VAR in English football alone. That's no small feat. But in fixing mistakes, we must ask, what are we losing? Because football at its heart was never about perfection. It was about passion, about chaos, about that one-time volley in the 92nd minute that made you believe in magic. Let's make sure we don't trade all of that away for a ruler, a replay, and a red dot on a screen. If this gave you a fresh perspective, drop a like, hit subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Has VAR ruined football, or is it just in the wrong hands? Thanks for watching. And remember, technology should serve the game, not change its soul.